When my attorney called, I thought there had been a mistake. A serious mistake. The kind that only happens because someone typed the wrong number into a form. Because according to the document sitting in front of him, Noah was giving me everything: the house, the cars, most of the savings, the vacation property, even furniture we had bought together over 10 years of marriage. I remember laughing. Actually laughing. That's not possible. My attorney didn't laugh. I've reviewed it 3 times. I stared out the window. Why would he do that? The attorney hesitated. That's probably something you'll need to ask him. But that was the problem. By then, Noah wasn't answering my calls anymore. And deep down, I think I already knew why. I just didn't want to admit it. Because if Noah was willing to walk away from everything we'd built together, it meant I'd completely misunderstood what mattered to him. And after what I'd done, that possibility terrified me. The affair started the way most bad decisions start. Gradually, conveniently, quietly. His name was Ethan. He worked for a software company that partnered with my marketing firm. At first it was lunches, then conferences, then private jokes, then hotel rooms. The usual progression. Nothing unique, nothing special. Which is probably why I never took it seriously enough. I told myself I wasn't leaving Noah. I told myself it wasn't really hurting anyone. I told myself I had everything under control. People tell themselves a lot of things when they're trying to avoid looking in a mirror. For almost a year, I maintained 2 relationships. One real, one fantasy. Or at least that's how I viewed them. Noah was stability, predictability, security. Ethan was excitement, attention, novelty. And somehow I convinced myself I deserved both. What I never considered was that Noah had his own choices to make. The discovery happened without drama. No screaming, no accusations, no phones thrown across rooms. One night, Noah simply asked, "Are you seeing someone else?" The question caught me off guard. Not because I hadn't prepared for it, because he'd asked it so calmly, like he was asking about the weather. I denied it immediately. Of course I did. Then he nodded and changed the subject. That should have scared me. Instead, it relieved me. I thought I'd escaped. What I didn't understand was that Noah wasn't looking for answers. He already had them. He was looking for honesty, and I had failed the test. The next 6 months felt normal, at least to me. Looking back, they weren't normal at all. Noah stopped arguing, stopped questioning me, stopped complaining, stopped asking where I was. At the time, I thought we'd finally reached a comfortable place in our marriage. Now I realize he'd simply stopped investing in it. The divorce papers arrived on a Tuesday. I wasn't shocked. I knew eventually we'd reach that point. What shocked me was Noah's attitude. He wanted nothing. Not reduced payments, not negotiations, not compromises. Nothing. The process moved quickly. Almost too quickly. Every time my attorney suggested we push for more, Noah agreed. Every time we expected resistance, there wasn't any. It felt surreal. Like playing a game against someone who refused to keep score. Then came the final settlement. And that's when everyone started asking the same question. Why? My friends asked. My family asked. Even my attorney asked. Why would a man willingly give away so much? At first, I felt victorious. If I'm being honest, I did. I told myself Noah was weak, guilty, afraid of conflict, maybe even still in love with me. Those explanations felt good. They protected my ego. Then reality arrived. About 8 months after the divorce. The first sign was social media, a mistake I should have avoided. Noah looked happy. Not fake happy. Not vacation photo happy. Genuinely happy. Healthier. More confident. More relaxed. The weight I'd always seen him carrying seemed gone. Then I learned he'd started a new company, a successful one. Then I learned he'd moved. Then I learned he'd started dating someone. And suddenly a realization began forming. The things Noah left behind weren't the things he valued. They were the things he was willing to trade for freedom. The truth hit me one evening while sitting alone in the house he had given me. The house was beautiful, large, expensive, perfectly maintained. Everything I had supposedly won. Yet the place felt empty. Not physically, emotionally, because every room reminded me of someone who no longer wanted to be there. I finally called Noah. To my surprise, he answered. The conversation lasted less than 10 minutes. Most of it was awkward. Until I finally asked the question. The question that had haunted me for almost a year. Why did you leave me everything? Silence. Then a small laugh. Not cruel, not angry, just tired. No, I didn't. I frowned. What? I didn't leave you everything. I didn't understand. The settlement? No. His voice remained calm. The settlement was just stuff. I sat quietly. For the first time, I felt like I was hearing something important. Noah continued. You think I left with nothing? Pause. But Claire. Another pause. I left with the only thing I wanted. I already knew the answer before he said it. Peace. That was it. Not revenge, not money, not the house, not the cars. Peace. The ability to wake up every morning without wondering who his wife was texting, without doubting every business trip, without questioning every late night. Peace. The conversation ended shortly afterward. But those words stayed with me, because suddenly everything made sense. Noah hadn't surrendered. He hadn't lost. He hadn't been manipulated. He had simply assigned different values to different things. I valued assets. He valued freedom. And because we were measuring success differently, I mistook his departure for defeat. Years later, I still live in that house. The same house Noah gave me. The same house I once viewed as proof I'd come out ahead. Now it feels more like a monument to a misunderstanding. Because for a long time, I believed winning meant keeping the property, keeping the money, keeping the lifestyle. But the older I get, the more I understand something Noah figured out much earlier. Sometimes the person who walks away with less is actually the one who leaves with everything that matters. And sometimes the most expensive thing you can lose isn't a house. It's the person who made it feel like a home in the first place.